Start sharing. This is a pain in my ass. Live stream is starting in 1 minute. Alright. Hello, everyone. Oh. Yeah, it's on. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's live stream. I hope that got into the live stream. It better, because I've worked very hard to get this done today. We are going to resume Kaepernick versus Prescott in a matter of moments, but today I was requested by Nick Durst to make my NBA predictions. As you can see here, I have made my custom bracket. This is how I see the playoffs ending up. And it's going to be interesting. I hope this is accurate. I think this is how it's going to end up at the end of the season. So let's start off with the Eastern Conference. I thought I could have put the Celtics at a 1 seed, but let me be honest here. Do I really see the Celtics catching up to the Cavs? Absolutely not. The Celtics really don't have that much strength on the small guard position. Think about what the Cavs did. They got Dwayne Wade, they got J.R. Smith. They're fine in the guard position. So my 1 seed's going to be Cleveland for that reason. If you look at the small guard depth, you're in good shape. Now, putting the Celtics over here at a 2 seed would be very reasonable to do. Only because you have to think about this. Putting the Celtics as a 2 seed, you have a rebuilt team that can definitely be a 2 seed. The problem is, how are you catching up to Cleveland unless a miracle happens? Last season, they just got lucky, but the way I see it, I definitely see the Celtics being the 2 seed. 3 seed, I'm going with the Wizards, only because I think John Wall and Bradley Beal are going to tear it up. They're going to have ridiculous numbers. Now, they might be top 10 overall in the NBA, but I could see this being a possibility that they end up being a 3 seed. Your 4 seed is going to be the Raptors. You have DeRozan. You have Kyrie. I mean, you're in good shape if you're a Raptors fan. You should definitely make the playoffs. But I think they're going to end up playing the Bucks as a 5 seed. Greek Freak's going to tear it up, but it's all going to have to come down to how their roster is going to hold up. We're going to comment. Read in a sec. Quickly going over the 6 seed, the Heat. I think the Heat should find their way back into the playoffs. It's a weak Eastern Conference. You have Hassan Whiteside. And I do want to see him play a lot this season. Hornets, I think they're going to make it only because they have a good roster that can definitely send them to the playoffs. At least as a 7 seed. Dwight Howard's going to try to redeem himself this season, so there's that factor. and then your 8 seed. Don't diss me if I'm picking the Sixers, but I think they'll make it as an 8 seed. When you look at the culture they have there, they want to make the playoffs and hopefully build their dynasty. For them to make the playoffs would certainly be an accomplishment this season, so I definitely see the Sixers taking on the Cavs. But we know what's going to happen then. Let me read the comment I just got in the live stream, and then we'll go right to the West. Let's see what we got. It's like I always like to read my comments. Let me read the comment I just got in the live stream, and then we'll go right to the West. Alright, so Nick Durst just asked me 2 questions. I'll go into the Clippers in a sec. But as far as your question with the Knicks, I'll gladly answer. I certainly see the Knicks winning 28 games. 30 would be a reasonable number. But when you look at their roster, they're just not a playoff team. When you think of an 8 seed, you're thinking the 76ers just got Markelle Fultz. Ben Simmons, who I'm going to get into later on in the video, is a very, very important thing I want to talk about. They could definitely make the playoffs as an 8 seed, no question. Maybe they'll win 40 games just to make it. But the Knicks are not making the playoffs for a number amount of years. I can't give you a number there, but what do you want to see? Porzingis? That's possibly it. At least Phil Jackson's gone, so there's that factor. Alright, now I'll go to Nick Durst's question to the Clippers in a sec. But we know my number 1 seed is going to be Golden State in the West. I feel they should do it no matter what. They have the roster, we know that. The defending champions, so there's that factor. 2 seed. Now I'm picking San Antonio for this reason. I think Kawhi is going to have a monster season. He's going to tear it up only because he was upset that Westbrook got the spotlight last season. I certainly could see Kawhi scoring on average 30 points a game. I almost said 38. Oh boy, that would have been bad. He'll definitely score on average 30 points a game. He'll tear it up. Putting Oklahoma City as the 3 seed. But then from the playoff perspective, I do want to see Oklahoma City play Minnesota. I'll get into that in a sec. You got Harden. I mean, there's a good chance they go as a 3 seed, but all depends on what's going to happen with Oklahoma City. I mean, I could change it right now if I could make it more reasonable. Like, let me change it right now. Let me move the Thunder back up to the... Now, here's how we're going to change it. Almost screwed it up. Wow. That would have been bad. That's better. Alright, this is my real bracket. I changed it. I put Oklahoma City as a 3 and the Rockets as a 4. Now, I'm making this final decision because I just feel that with Carmelo and Wes and now Paul George, they could definitely be a 3 seed. Maybe even chase the 2nd seed, but 3 seed's reasonable because, as I said, Kawhi's just going to be too much. And then the 4th seed, you know, Rockets are going to be there, obviously with Harden. But then you have the 5th seed. And this is why I put Minnesota here, because they have a win now mentality. They could definitely win 50 games as a 5th seed. There's no question about that. If Minnesota does not make the playoffs this year, something isn't right. Alright. Now, New Orleans. Why do I see them as a 7th seed? Well, let me go to the Clippers, because, right, every time Nick Durst always asks me, stop ignoring my questions! Okay, the Clippers. I know they've lost some parts. They lost CP3. Look, they have a roster that can send them to the playoffs. But, again, what's it going to take for them to make it? And maybe Nick Durst is asking me a question. Let me see what he's asking me, because maybe I can answer it properly. Oh, boy, I'm telling you, looking at comments during a live stream can be a hassle. Oh, of course, they would add this song to the soundtrack.
I'm telling him. Looking at comments.
Okay, since he's asking about Golden State, the most I can give them, I'm giving them 67 wins. They'll win 67 games. It would be reasonable. Cavaliers, I'm going to give them 62. I'm going to give the Celtics 58. Alright, that's reasonable. I'm not going to go into the rest. But I think Golden State's definitely going to win 67, the most. Alright, now as far as the Clippers, back to them. Blake Griffin. And you have the big power forward in DeAndre Jordan. And look, maybe there's some weaknesses, but they could make the playoffs. If not, I'll put another team here. The Nuggets. If somehow the Clippers collapse, you could see Denver being at 6, even the 7th seed. And then maybe Portland moves to the 7th seed if they get lucky. For now, I'm keeping the Clippers right here. But remember, everyone, keep an eye on the Denver Nuggets. That's all I'm going to say. Maybe they might surprise some people. I mean, the experts are saying they could. Alright, back to the Pelicans. If they don't make the playoffs, something isn't right. And I'm expecting Boogie to get a big contract in New Orleans. He's the best rated center in 2K18 for crying out loud. Alright. Now that I got my opinion about him, Anthony Davis will be the main star as well with Boogie. So there you have that factor. And he's another guy who I think is going to tear it up for the MVP race this season. It's going to be Damian Lillard. Portland can make the playoffs, yes. I could see him and Harden. No, my bad. Him and Leonard, excuse me. Him and Kawhi Leonard battling it out for MVP. So that's my 8th seed. Now, and my MVP is going to be Kawhi. Why do I pick Kawhi? Kawhi is going to be tearing it up. It's him and Lillard, but in the end, for the MVP race, I'm going with Kawhi. Leonard's going to be tearing it up. Just because of Westbrook. Maybe I don't know if Westbrook's going to have the same numbers as last season with averaging a triple-double. But I know, as far as scoring rise, you're going to see Leonard tear it up this season. Along with Lillard. Coach of the Year, I'm going to go with Steve Kerr. It's the obvious reason. And then my Rookie of the Year. I don't know how many points Lonzo Ball's going to average, but I'm sorry, Laker fans. Your team's not making the playoffs in my fantasy. Alright, so I'm done with that.